So, Jerome, can conflict in the workplace be a positive factor in the evolution of a leader in the organization?
Yeah, Alex, it can. It greatly depends on the level of relationship, and it also depends on how much each person or each group or each team wants to develop and grow. So there's a difference between war and conflict. So a lot of times people misname conflict and they're really at war. And if you're at war with someone, or if you're at war with another team or a team member or another stakeholder, then that's probably not going to be resolved. You have to find a common ground in order to work with. So my whole philosophy on conflict is I never enter into a conflict with another person or another group unless my purpose is to enhance our relationship. So conflict for me is an enhancer if it's pursued with the basis of love, compassion, purpose, and it is very intentional. And you're not really shouting at each other, you're really just disagreeing. And sometimes it's okay to agree to disagree, but then to get back to what is our purpose? What are we trying to achieve? What are our goals? And we can set aside our differences in order to achieve the goals and get better understanding and clarity.
So, the key ingredient for that conflict to become a positive force within the relationship is love, is appreciation, right? Is friendship or working together, having that mindset.
Alex, love in the corporate world
I know it's
is
kind of
it's one of
bizarre. Yeah,
it's a four-letter word,
yeah.
but it really is. Look, our purpose for being on the planet, to me, is to learn how to love, and doesn't mean that love is not mushy. It's really purposeful.
Or
It's
respect,
our
maybe. Just
passion.
respect. Yeah.
It's our heart. It's when we put our heart into what we're doing, it allows us to go beyond our mental uh, mindset. It allows us to let go of some of our limiting beliefs that we all have. I have limiting beliefs, and I'm constantly always working on how do I change that, or how do I look at a different perspective. And it's a never-ending process. And so in conflict, it's really important that you have this place where you can go to and acknowledge that, okay, what are my beliefs and how are they getting in the way of communicating? How do I listen better? I've always wanted to try this test of having a group of leaders go in a room and there's a problem on the board or there's a problem on the screen, but no one talks about it. No one says anything. And then they go away and they come back. And then the job is to listen to each person's perspective without interruption. I think that would be a beautiful thing.
So, Jerome, you've been coaching leaders, people in organizations for quite a while. You've had many, many, many experiences with people coming to you and asking you advice on how to resolve conflicts. Is conflict something that you need to get rid of, or is it something that can be actually a fuel for something positive? That's going back to the first question.
Mhm. I don't recommend that people try to avoid conflict. I recommend that they avoid war. So, and there's a real difference in that.
There's an
Like I
escalation.
said, yes, like I said earlier, I don't enter into conflict with someone I don't want to extend the relationship, or I know that I'm not going to be honest in that relationship, or I know that I don't really care to continue the relationship. So it's a relationship based, it's trust based, it's integrity based, it's principle based. All those things are really important. What we're used to and what we call conflict is that escalating war. And I think people have to just step back and say, am I at war with this person or with this group, or am I trying to achieve greater clarity? Conflict is tied to achieving greater clarity. greater understanding and looking at various perspectives. And the biggest thing that to do in conflict, which is the most challenging thing, the most difficult thing that I even deal with, is listening. And it's harder to listen when emotional attachment. So when the emotions get high, that's when it's most difficult to listen. So I always recommend to people, I recommend a lot of my clients, to count to 10. And by the time you get to 7, you're already calmer because it's in your body. And a lot of conflict and a lot of what we feel is not here, it's in our body. So when you count to 10, you're going to breathe a little deeper. You're going to pause. And you might even hear a little better, listen a little better. But then one thing I can guarantee will happen is you'll be calmer.
Great. And you might be able to hear your own voice, the wiser voice.
Yes.
It's really about control. Control yourself.
And you have to ask yourself, why am I in this conflict in the first place?
Yeah. That's probably the best question to ask. Okay, thank you so much, Jerome. That's really helpful. Great stuff.
Okay, great.
Thank you.